bishop takes f6 and bishop takes h7 wins the pawn. So this position is very playable and okay. Probability of getting is, again, very, very low. Some people played on a higher level, not on very high level, but expert level. They play rarely this opening for black, but you cannot expect to get it frequently. And another subject, relatively wide subject, not one of the major openings against d4, but more popular than counter gambit or knight c6 on second move. It's the Dutch defense, Holland defense, Dutch. So Dutch defense may be played with e6 on d4 first move or with f5. So let's learn it with f5. Now, I would not recommend you to start and learning the sharp variations of e4 gambit. There are two reasons for it. First of all, it's not very clear position after that. And secondly, the first move may be e6. And after c4, f5, then you don't get this position. So why should you learn something you are not surely to get? That's why I want to apply universal approach, that no matter what move order black chooses, we get one universal system. d4, f5, knight f3. I withhold c4 move. I wait with the c4. Now, black has few ways to play. They can go knight f6 on a second move, or they can go with g6. Now, after, we're going to look at both of them. g6 is the Leningrad variation of Dutch defense, and knight f6, sometimes they play Leningrad with the second move knight f6. But if we play bishop g5, that's what I would recommend to play, then g6 does not make sense, because position after bishop takes f6 favors white great deal. Then we go e3, knight d2, bishop d3, and we're going to get this kind of a pawn structure. So what you do here, you go queen c2 and castle long, followed by h3 and g4. Now, we cannot develop this much further because I'm showing you the plan, because black is likely to castle kingside, and then you go h3 and g4, developing very strong attack. So that's what I would recommend, and you can hardly find someone who will play g6 in this move order. No one will play you d4, d4 f5, knight f3, knight f6, bishop g5. They will not play you g6. It's not a good way to play for black. So the main move here is knight f6. So therefore, I would like to start with it. Knight f6, bishop g5. And here, black has two ways to go. One is knight e4, and second is e6. In both cases, I have very simple system that guarantees you some small advantage. And I remember I recommended this system at some point, recommended to Karpov, and he played in semi-blitz tournament against Topalov, one of the top GMs, and he checkmated him, I think, like under 20 moves. Well, let me tell you the idea of bishop g5 move after e6. Now we go knight to d2. If black plays bishop e7, we play bishop takes f6, bishop takes f6, and pawn e4. That's the idea. Now if white plays, if black plays f takes e, white has very, very strong position. Bishop d3, now followed by queen e2 and castle long. White has very dangerous position, well, black has very dangerous position. So, but if after e4 in this position, black doesn't take on e4, then what can they play? We just went knight d2, black castled, we take on f6 and go e4. If black goes d5, for example, then you go e5. That's what happened, by the way, in Karpov-Topolov's game. Bishop e7, bishop d3, then you go queen e2, you castle long, and rook g1 and g4. White has clear attacking plan, which is very, very dangerous. This is simple to play, but black has other ways to stop white from achieving this result. So f5, knight f3, knight f6, bishop g5. So e6, knight d2. Now that black sees that white wants to take on f6 and go e4, black may play d5. But after d5, you get very simple position to play for white. It's almost symmetrical, but almost symmetrical. But white is way ahead, and they symmetrical only the pawn structure, but not the pieces. You go e3, and after bishop e7 or bishop d6, you go knight e5, and after castling, you go f4. You see, you have symmetrical pawn structure, but you don't have any bad bishops like black has on c8. Your c8 bishop, corresponding bishop to c8, is bishop on g5. If you had bishop on c1, that would have been the maybe equal position, but not with bishop on g5. Then you're going to go bishop d3 and castle short. You have simple position with a better pawn structure, with better pieces position, and after c4 you may have even better pawn structure. Now the reason black cannot afford c5, because after you castle, if white goes c4, you can see that better better pieces development will favor white, the opening of the center. So also on c5 you can go c3. That's an easy way to play too. You have advantage in piece placement. Now we're going back and see a couple of other options for black after bishop g5. The main move in this position is knight e4. And it's interesting enough that I have had it, every time I played bishop g5, my opponents respond with knight e4. And I played h4. Now, what can black do here? I played few games, and the most ambitious move and probably the most logical move for black here is c5. Believe me, black does not want to take this bishop on g5 because h takes g opens the h file, and black may get in trouble real soon. But after c5, I had this position in my game, so I went e3, normal developing move, now queen b6. There's something wrong with the way black is playing here. What is wrong is that black played two pawn moves. They played two moves with the minor pieces, but that was with the same minor piece, with the knight. That's also a violation. of basic principles, and